Who doesn't love a nice, big, delicious chocolate chip cookie? I know for a fact I sure as hell did. Although, one thing is for absolute certain, one thing I always wanted to try way back when I was a kid was Grandma's cookies from Spongebob. However, after reading this pasta, I don't think I really want to go out of my way and do that now. Now, this pasta in the long run I thought was actually pretty good for what it was worth. It had an interesting concept, and while I will admit the idea of there being a secret room, a dark secret and all that is kind of overused for what it's worth, I can say that it kinda worked with this episode. I mean, the idea of SpongeBob's grandmother being a crazy psychopath in some kind of way, using SpongeBob's long-dead grandpa as ingredient for cookies, is kinda messed up to say the least. I guess the saying is true, don't judge a book by its cover. Now, the only real problem I actually had with this pasta was, it definitely needed a little bit of a polishing. If you listen to the recording that I did, I had a little bit of a hard time actually reading this story because the way that the grammar and the punctuation was done was not very good. It wasn't terrible like a lot of Lost episode pastas are, but this one was a little bit hard to read. So, to the author, a little word of advice, definitely try to clean it up so that way reading it is a lot smoother. But besides that, this is a rather somewhat unique concept to an episode. It doesn't delve into blood and gore like most other pastas do, and it's actually rather unique and pretty creative for what it's worth. I definitely wish though that this pasta was a little bit longer, but then again, it's not that bad. So, with that little review out of the way, I present to all of you the Lost SpongeBob Creepypasta, Grandma's Cookies. Enjoy. If you want to know who I am, the best I can tell you is that I'm the oldest child of a family of 5. My sister moved away with her dog, and my older sister, who's currently in college, bought a female pet bird. Another one of my sisters is actually talented at art, and there's the youngest child. He's my little brother, and really great at programming. We sometimes call him silly names like Silly Billy. Billy's not his actual name, it just rhymes. But he's really cute, and of course we love him. Fast forward summer break and my cousins were getting engaged, and they were throwing an engagement party before they got married in the future. However, the location was at Canada. Granted, where we lived at, I knew we could drive, but it would take well over 10 hours plus bathroom breaks just to get there. So of course, we primarily figured it would just be better to travel through flight. The airplanes have those entertainment systems where it streams channels live in the back of a chair with a remote on the arm of the seat. After waiting a couple hours until the airport boarded with passengers, we were finally on the flight. After a couple more minutes of waiting for the rest of the passengers to get in, and another few more waiting in for some sort of stupid airplane safety video to finish, the airplane finally flew, and I could finally sit back and relax and watch TV on the airplane without any issues for the next few hours. I decided to watch some SpongeBob SquarePants, so I went to the menu to see what episodes of SpongeBob were airing at the time, and of course, they were all just modern episodes. However, as I was browsing through it, there was one episode that caught my eye. The episode's title said, Grandma's Cookies. Just to let you know, me and my brother were huge fans of SpongeBob, and we had decided sometime a while back to start a SpongeBob marathon, or what we call a Spongeathon, on Paramount Plus, just to catch up on some episodes. However, I never remembered seeing that episode. Maybe it might have been a new episode that currently had released and I just didn't know. I was sitting next to my sister and asked her to go to the TV channel menu to see if she had the same results. But she told me that there wasn't an episode entitled Grandma's Cookies, but instead there was an episode in its place named Doodle Dimension, which of course we did watch in the marathon. I decided to look at the episode's description to kind of get a better detail of what I was looking at. It stated, SpongeBob visits his grandma's house to learn how she makes her delicious cookies. All they're missing is one special ingredient. It appeared to play after that episode in Mrs. Puff You're Fired, so I watched it to see if it would actually play this episode or not, or if it was just some stupid glitch because of the television on the airplane. So after about 11 minutes of watching SpongeBob getting trained by someone be replacing Mrs. Puff, I waited until the commercial breaks end, and after SpongeBob played his recorder on his nose, I was ready to see what fate had in store for me. The title card of Grandma Cookies showed, and then the episode began with SpongeBob heading to his grandma's house. SpongeBob opens the door and yells in happiness, "Grandma!" as he runs to her and hugs her. His grandma gives him a kiss on the forehead and tells him that she almost didn't recognize him because of how much he was growing. She also told SpongeBob that no matter how old he was, he would always be his little baby to her. SpongeBob goes to the kitchen as his grandma prepares to bake a batch of fresh cookies. She asks SpongeBob, "Wanna know how I make my cookies as delicious as you think?" SpongeBob nods in happiness. She goes over to the mixer and says, "We add butter, eggs, flour, water, chocolate chips, and most importantly, love," as she puts the ingredients together and mixes them. SpongeBob kissed the bowl of the ingredients and then kissed his grandma, telling her how much he loved her. His grandma tells him that she had a secret ingredient that made her cookies stand out and tells him to close his eyes. SpongeBob asks her about the ingredient and she tells him, "If I tell you, it wouldn't be a secret anymore, just like how you make a Krabby Patty with a secret ingredient." SpongeBob starts growing suspicious. "You're Plankton in disguise, aren't you?" he says. She laughs and tells him, "I don't know him, but I do remember moments of a little walking green jelly bean that always tries to steal what he calls the secret formula." The camera goes to the inside of the closet, and she opens it and gasps, "Oh no, we ran out of the special ingredient. I need to go and get more of it." SpongeBob was upset about the situation, not able to get any cookies, so he tries to find the ingredient himself. Using his knowledge that his grandma doesn't have the ingredient at home, he goes outside and gets random stuff, from seaweed to kelp to Krabby Patties, but none of them tasted like his grandmother's cookies. He tries to call his grandma multiple times, but she wouldn't pick up her phone. He called her again, and she finally picked up. Of course, he asks his grandma about the secret ingredient, and of course, he tells him that it's just a secret. But he doesn't give up in the process and goes back outside to get more random stuff to get the secret ingredient. But, as obviously, none of them worked. He decided to try random parts of characters, from Plankton's body to Mr. Krabs' arm. None of them worked. He soon wondered if his grandma was lying to him about running out to get a secret ingredient. So he looked around the house until something caught his eye. A door that had a sign hanging on the doorknob saying in all capital letters, "Do not enter." He wanted to see what was inside, but at the same time, he didn't want to invade his grandmother's privacy while she was away. However, curiosity got the better of him, and he entered into the room. He felt something touch him on the foot. He looked down to see some skeleton bones, with the word "help" written on the floor. Grandma appears behind him with a baseball bat. "Looks like you found my secret," she said. SpongeBob was sad and scared at the same time, and I totally understood. How would you feel if your grandma was using dead people for cookies? "Let's just say I found out sea sponges can regenerate. So I knocked your grandpa out and used his body parts for our little secret ingredient. Since I baked the body parts in the oven with the cookies, it won't regenerate, so I can use it as an ingredient," SpongeBob grandma said. She knocked SpongeBob unconscious and threw him next to his unconscious grandpa. She slammed the door closed as the screen turned black, and a locking sound could be heard. The credits play like normal, and there's nothing out of the ordinary. Then it goes to the United Plankton Pictures logo. Logo was replaced with United Chocolate Chips Inc. The water behind them was replaced with fire, and Plankton was replaced with a tray of cookies with some skeleton bones on the tray. I think it was supposed to simulate being inside an oven. I was shocked and wanted to learn more about the episode. Since my plane had Wi-Fi, I did some research about this episode, and here's what I got so far. Number 1. The episode was originally made because a man with friends... Number 1. The episode was made originally because a man was friends with the person who was a worker of SpongeBob SquarePants, and that man wanted revenge on his ex who loved SpongeBob so much that she cheated on him. Number 2. He was able to make a copy of a Nickelodeon streaming service and replace the episode with the episode I had currently watched. Number 3. There's actually a rare chance for the episode to accidentally air on the real Nickelodeon streaming service instead of a duplicate. It looks like I had gotten that rare chance. Here I am now, after the engagement party. It was really fun, but it didn't distract me from that episode. I understand that cheating is wrong, but I think that man carried it way too far.
In fear and surprise, as your eyes widen, your mouth goes dry with each battered breath. You try to scream, your mind begs to leave, glued to your computer screen. The killers they slash, the tapes burn and crash. The cartridge you bought will be your final haunt. The rituals of hate will seal your fate. The tears you shed will be from the fear-gripping, horror-driven, nightmarish, gore-filled, terrorizing, hateful, burning, violent, rage-inducing, knife-slashing, blood-splattering, silent screams. Only time will tell if you will escape this online hell. Your horror-filled obsessions will come with its own regressions. Your pathetic screams will not be heeded in any way, because your nightmares will come at any day.